Welcome everyone, Zach the Incredible Impression here. You are about to see part one of my interview with actor, comedian, wonderful man, Mr. Larry Hankin. So this is going to be a two-part series. Part one premieres now. Part two premieres next week. So without further ado, I give you part one of my interview with Larry Hankin. Roll it. Hey everybody, it's Zach the Incredible Impression here. Woo! Coming at you with another very special edition of the Incredible Impression interviews. Today I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend, awesome guy, great actor, great comedian, the one and only Mr. Larry Hankin. How are you, Larry?
Well, it turns out I I'm fine again.
Good. Yeah, we had to restart this. Let's see, my laptop was acting up and we had to redo this, but
Oh
we're
no,
here.
I was fine a week ago, and now I'm
Oh,
I'm fine again.
all
And
right.
still, no, actually, I'm fine still. Yes. Okay.
Oh,
Cool. You got the shadings. It's all shadings.
yeah. Yeah. So you're one of the guys I've wanted to have on my show for the longest time, Larry, and it's so great to finally have the chance to
Wow.
talk to you.
Well, thank you very much. I've always
Absolutely.
wanted to be on your show, so I guess here we go.
Absolutely. And Steve Joyner, our good friend, he's the one who orchestrated this meeting today, and we want to thank him as well because he's been a friend of yours for a long time, Larry. And um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, he and you go way back.
Well,
And
no, not way back. I mean, a couple
yeah,
of, maybe 3 years. Okay, yeah, that's.
yeah,
I'm not back in the day. I mean, if you want to go way back with me, I have a long way to go back. So no, 3 years ago. But yeah, we're
yeah.
friends.
Well, he's a great guy all around. So let's get started. First of all, we talked about this a little bit before, but you had a little part with Lucille Ball at one time, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Okay, Okay, I'll just do a quick setup. It's a setup. Yes, I was in a movie called Yours, Mine, and Ours. And it was a marriage between Lucille's Ball character and Henry Fonda's character. They both had kids, separate marriages, and they got married. So that's like 12 kids, yours, mine, and ours. You get it? Okay.
Right.
So I was part of a group called the Committee in San Francisco, and the movie was set in San Francisco. So they hired the cast, which was 5 people to be in the movies here and there, just small parts, just like a flavor, to prove they were really in San Francisco. Well,
Yeah.
the actors there. So we were in the background, no big parts. And I didn't have any lines at all. And we were just scattered, salted throughout the movie. So I was a bag boy and they went shopping and it was on a soundstage, but they had a supermarket set.
Right.
So I was just a bag boy. That was all. I mean, that was it. It's no big deal. It's what happened next that really
Ooh.
counts. Yeah. So we did the thing. And all I did was they were buying, they had a lot of kids, so they were buying a lot of stuff. They had lines with the cashier, but none with me. I had no lines. All I did was I was in the background or on the side packing bags. And that
Hmm.
was it. So they did this shot twice and then they wanted to reset the camera. So we all stepped aside, but Lucille Ball uh just took 3 steps off where she was standing in the scene. Boom, boom, boom. And then she was surrounded by 4 women from the I guess the makeup department. And they started working on her and she stood there like a store window dummy. She just stood like this. And they started to, one was working on her hair, one was working on her makeup, one was working on her lipstick, and one was working on a costume. And they would, I
Yeah.
mean, there's nothing to do. I mean, she didn't do anything. She was just standing there probably she was just standing around all day, just waiting to go on camera and not moving.
Right.
Because nothing changed. I mean, they just made believe. And, she just stood there and let them do it. So she's not a real diva.
Yeah.
I looked around for Henry Fonda to see what he was doing while they were working on her. It was ridiculous. And I thought it was ridiculous. So I just
Hmm.
stood aside I was about 15 feet away, you know.
Right.
I thought out of her eye line because she was, just standing here and I was kind of over there. And I was watching, and the women kind of weren't as tall as she was. So she
She was
was
a
about,
tall lady.
yeah, yeah. Well, they were, or they were very short. Either one. I don't know. But so I could see her head, and I could see what they were doing, and then she was
Hmm.
walk as they went walk as they worked on her, and she just stood there, and then she like turned her head, and she saw me, you know, and she said, and she raised up a little, just above their heads, and she said, "Young man, what is your name?" I didn't know. This is the first time she talked to anybody. I
Yeah.
mean,
A little
just
intimidating, I guess.
yeah, yeah. I mean, what is your name? Like she's going to report me to the police. I mean, that was what it was kind of
Yeah.
like.
It was
And,
Lucille Ball. What would
and
you
she
expect?
said, "Would you come over here, please?" And then the ladies stopped working on her and stepped aside. They just
Oh,
stepped
wow.
away a little so that I could come over and she could talk to me. So I went over to her and I said, yes. And she said, um, sorry. And she said, no. Now, all I did was bag groceries. I mean, like I wasn't acting. I was just standing there,
Right.
And she said, no, she said, uh, you're a very nice man, I guess kid, guy, whatever she said. You're a very nice actor.
Hmm.
You're a very nice actor. You're very talented. But if you get in my light once more, you're not going to be working here. And then she stepped back.
Oh.
Yeah. And then she just stepped back, and then the ladies just boom. And I just thought, holy cow, man. Wow.
Ooh.
And she meant it. She
Yeah.
was, that was not a joke. And I thought, wow. My first thought is diva, 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 big.
Hmm.
My awe of Lucille Ball just went,
Yeah. Just collapsed. Like took a light switch and went,
screw you,
yeah.
lady. That
Hmm.
was all I was thinking. But, hey, man, this is Lucille Ball and this is a movie and I'm a hired person. So I just stepped back and, was very nice. Okay. And then, they said, okay, back into the scene, and then, so I bagged and I made sure I wasn't in her light,
Yeah.
And we're like, okay. That's basically the story of me and Lucille Ball, the diva. And Henry Fonda was exactly opposite because while all this was going on, the ladies and then me and then back to the ladies, I was looking for what he was doing while this was going on. Like,
Right.
is he going through the same thing with another actor saying, "You get my light again, I'm gonna fuck you up"? Uh, no, he just faded into the woodwork. He just went to the nearest wall that was in shadow, and it was a soundstage, and the soundstage wall just so happened was only about 25 feet away from where we were shooting.
Hmm.
Uh, and it was dark there because it was a wall.
Right.
No lights were on it. So
Yeah.
he just faded into the shadow. He just went against the wall and he just stood there very calmly waiting for them to ask him to go back into the scene. So he didn't
Hmm.
do anything. So there were two opposites. There's people are working on him, women are working on her, and nobody was going over to him. Now, I figured nobody was going over to him because of awe, oh, it's Henry Fonda, just tiptoe around him.
Yeah.
But he just stood there very calmly, just, watching and stuff like that. So okay, and then when the scene was over, I just got out of there. I didn't want to be around her anymore. She picked something else up, so that's the story. But I have other stories and I hardly ever talk about that because it's not, to me, that wasn't very interesting to me.
Right. I mean, if anything, I would have felt like I would have been more nervous as the takes went by because, like, oh, she told me
No,
not to
oh,
stand in her light. You know?
no, I wasn't nervous because the way she did it, I mean, she was really like uppity,
Mhm.
like a boss or something. Like if you are not going to be right, I'm going to fire you. That's basically what she was saying,
Right.
and she had that attitude. No, so that got me angry, but I
Yeah.
didn't
Oh, it got
show.
you angry.
But
Yeah.
so it kind of wiped away any kind of nervousness about talking to Lucille Ball. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, when I first went on to the set and there was Lucille and Henry, yeah, I was full of awe. And I was, don't ask her for her autograph. Don't ask
Oh,
her
I
for.
heard about that. She was she got very prickly when people asked for her autograph. I heard.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of sensed just stay away from her. But when she threatened to have me fired, she threatened to have me fired.
Yeah.
Um, okay, man, whatever. But now here's the weird thing, and it just reminded me years later. I mean, I'm talking about 6, 7 years later. The committee was playing on Broadway, New York, in a Broadway theater.
Hmm.
We had a 3 month booking. So yeah, we were pretty cool. We were pretty good. So we were playing Broadway. And then during that time, during the 3 months, there was the Broadway Actors Parade.
Hmm.
This is a function every year. All the actors on Broadway in every show, uh, and guests, I guess, did a parade down, I guess, Fifth Avenue or Broadway. Big parade, with floats and
Right.
I mean, big thing.
Sort
And
of
they were,
like Macy's in a way.
excuse me.
Sort of like the Macy's parade in a way.
Well, yeah, without the balloons and stuff, but
Right.
who ever heard of the Broadway Actors Parade? I never heard of
Right.
it. Who
Neither I.
It was a new thing? Who knew? So everybody who was in any show on Broadway were on all of the floats that was spread around, and they had clowns, and other things and funny kind of stuff on each thing. It was like a parade, and
Hmm.
marching people and a band and the whole thing. Okay, so I'm on a float, and I thought, wow, man, I'm on a float full of clowns, which was a mistake or was on purpose, whatever. But I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But mainly the clowns. I mean, there were 10 clowns from the circus, from Barnum and Bailey Circus. I guess it was in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got everybody. So I'm on this float with about 10 clowns, maybe three of which were my size or normal size, and the other seven were dwarfs in clown. Well, in the circus, that's what.
Yeah.
But clowns up close are scary, not funny,
Right.
because you see the makeup, and the makeup starts to get weird as you sweat, perspiration.
Yeah.
And they were sweating. I mean, they have, clown costumes on, and it was summer. So it must have been very hot. Anyway, all the people in makeup, whoever, clowns or whatever, I'm sure they were sweating and their makeup was very uncomfortable. But the clown with the caked white, and the red noses and the wigs,
Yeah.
and these small people. I mean, it was just like weird. It wasn't scary. I wasn't nervous. It was just strange. But the strangeness came from their attitudes.
Oh,
These smaller clowns, these dwarf clowns, even the larger clowns. But I focused on the dwarfs. And man, they were just angry and cursing at the crowd, at the kids.
wow.
like as we're moving by, of course, all the little kids came up front, especially the clown float, and
Yeah.
I'm on it. And I'm waving. Nobody knows what show I'm in or who the hell
Hmm.
I but you wave, you're on a float, you wave, hey,
Yeah.
hi. And they wave back. And that's what everybody on the float was doing, even the clowns. There were the other actors on the float too, but even the clowns. So we're all, and about three of them crowded around me, of the dwarf clowns, and they were waving too, and we were all waving, only they were cursing the kids. I mean, not that
Oh.
I could hear, but they're going, hi, you little bastards, hi, you mess, you screw you, those chicks, you know, but mean, but they weren't smiling like I'm smiling now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fucking little dick. Yeah, you waving, and they had, of course, clown makeup. So they had a clown, smile drawn,
Yeah.
a clown.
So they couldn't, people
You couldn't
couldn't tell
even
that they were
tell, even if,
angry.
what they were. You couldn't read their lips because it was a
Yeah.
clown smile. Fuck you little.
Oh,
Man, that was okay. So that's a setup to show that we were the committee were playing on Broadway. Now
hmm.
it just so happens that Lucille Ball was in another show. I didn't even know she was on Broadway at the time,
Yeah.
but she was in the parade somewhere. I wasn't near her, but I heard, oh, Lucille Ball's down there. Okay. Now all the actors who were in that parade were also in the Broadway Actors Baseball League. It was a softball league. And if you're in a show on Broadway, you're automatically in the league and you are part of two teams that will be chosen. So what you're given is be at Central Park on the ball field at a certain time, and they're going to choose up sides. Okay. So there's like 150, 200 people from all the shows. Or some
Right.
people show up, some people don't care. But so there was a lot of people. And then there's a guy who chose sides, and it was just, one. I mean, it was just random. There's no way of, I want to be on their side. It's just you were told, all right, you're on this side, you're on this side, you're on this side. Okay, we got 9 people, we got nine, people to replace. We got pitchers, we got umps, okay, play
Right.
ball. I'm on Lucille Ball's team. I didn't know that. It was just random.
Hmm.
Only 9 people. So now the great thing about being on Lucille Ball's team is she knows how to play baseball. Oh, well, I mean, she knows how to do a lot of things, but
Right.
she got up to bat, man. She was serious baseball. I mean, and
Yeah.
you know, batting the plate with the bat,
Right.
tapping the plate with the bat, getting in the batter's box, taking a couple of swings, and you could just see by the way she was handling the bat. And she's done this, man.
Yeah.
She's cool. So, well, that's Lucille Ball.
Yeah.
And okay, and then so the pitcher, throws the first. It's softball. Pitcher throws the first ball. Strike. And earlier she's arguing with her. What do you mean it's a strike? That was a ball. And she's like into it, man. She's like, what do you mean? It's a strike. Hey, I'm calling it. You just stay in. You bat, I ump. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fine, cool. Let's go. Let's go. Throws again. It's a ball. Now she's trying to get to the umpire. So she's patting the plate, the home base, and she's cursing him. You so come on. No, no arm, no hand, no pitcher, no pitcher. I mean, she's got all the core, the baseball shit. She's got it all, man. That's it. And then she pitches in. Damn, and she hits a line drive, man. Um,
Oh,
yeah, man. And she got on second, man. She wanted to win. I mean,
yeah. She was
there.
always wanting to just win.
Well, she wanted to play. I mean, she was there to play. She came to play. She didn't play to.
Yeah.
She didn't come to sign autographs, to act,
Yeah.
nothing, and no makeup or nothing. She was in a sweatpants, and she was ready to play ball.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, so that's the setup, and all that's going. And it was a bright, sunny summer day, and all I'm thinking is, don't cast a shadow on Lucille Ball. That's all years later. I'm thinking, don't get in her light, man. Don't, no shadows on her. That's what occurred to me.
That
So I
whole
said,
thing just
well, I
stuck
never
with you.
approached her. I just put that no shadow. I was watching where my shadow was.
She had you on edge with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just popped in my, I didn't think about it until I saw Lucille Ball again. And I go, oh, fuck, don't get in her light. So, yeah, that
Oh
was,
my God.
it was a callback, memory call.
Maybe she called you back secretively to see if you would actually stand in
Yeah,
her light.
right.
Yeah.
Whatever. I was very, on guard.
Yeah. But I think also she got a lot of her, her personal character and stuff from Desi Arnaz as well, because, he was really hard on the studio. I mean, when he would,
Go freak.
yeah, I mean, when Robert Stack presented Lucy at the Kennedy Center Honors back in the 80s, he came out and he said about the Untouchables, he said that he always watched himself around Lucy because she was the star of the show as well as the boss. And he said that Desi told him that he said, we're going to make the best dumb television show that you ever seen. But Desi was a great guy, but I mean, I know they had a lot
Yeah,
of
but she would
marital
talk
issues.
about his control,
Yeah,
and his anger and stuff like that. But
yeah.
she
I
liked
mean,
him, I guess. I mean, that's what she said, and
yeah,
she stuck
and I'm
with him.
yeah, and I mean, the Lucy you got on camera was not the Lucy you would see off camera. Off camera, I
Oh,
heard she was very shrewd and she could be very arrogant. And I mean, same thing with Vivian Vance and Bill Frawley. They look like the perfect couple on screen, but
yeah.
off screen, those two did not speak to each other. And
Really? Wow, that's amazing.
Vivian hated Bill Frawley because of his reputation
What
as
was
an
the
actor. Bill Frawley was a known hothead and a known drunk, and
Oh,
he
really? Oh,
he was fired on Broadway for punching Clifton Webb in the nose because he
uh,
said he did not like the way Clifton Webb was talking to him. And he said, if you do it again, I'm going to punch you in the nose. And Clifton Webb did it again, and Bill punched him in the nose. And but not Ricky, Desi said that when he met with Bill because Bill inquired about the part of Fred, and he said, no, but no uncertain terms. You have a reputation. Lucy and I like your comedic timing. We think you'd be good for the show, for the part, but our stipulation is if you are late, if you show up drunk, you are fired on the spot. So,
wow.
but
Well, I guess he never showed up drunk because
no,
he
but he
did
did.
it all the way through.
But in return, he had a clause put into his contract that if the Yankees got to the World Series, he would get time off for the games because he was best friends with Joe DiMaggio, and that benefited him because out of all this, I think the 8 seasons of I Love Lucy, there was 8 seasons. The Yankees made 3 World Series, I think.
Oh,
So
wow.
2 full episodes he had to be written out of. But yeah, I
Great.
mean,
Very
but
good for Raleigh.
yeah, I mean, but he had a very sad life though. I mean, he had no friends barely, and by the time he died, he had nobody except a male nurse in his life.
Wow.
Yeah, but let's see.
Sad. But
Yeah,
that's
it
what
is.
happened. That's the danger of being in show business.
Yes, it is.
Your hair, well, your hair turns gray. I fixed that, so I started to play old when I was young, just in case,
Yeah.
you know. But now I know I'm kind of I dropped out
Hmm.
in 20 between 2011 and 2013. Nobody knew about it until 2013, but I really stopped in 2011. I just told my agents I want to get a life
Hmm.
for a little while. This is too, it's too cloying. It's too closed. Being an actor in Hollywood, especially films, but no, films and television, Hollywood, LA, Hollywood. It's very damaging. You have to have your shit together before you start acting, and then
Right.
you'll pay. But if you have any kind of problems, personality problems, mental, I don't know, problems with your father, with your family, with your growing up, if you have any kind of psychological stuff, it doesn't help, man.
Right.
All you want is more of this false family.
Yeah, exactly.
You want family. You want to be okay.
Hmm.
And in Hollywood, you're not okay. You're just
Yeah.
rich or talented, but you're never okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
and it's damaging, man. And I
Yeah.
come to sense that this is not helping me. I thought I got to get away. So I got away, and it was kind of cool being away. And so I just, well, I'm going to stay away for a little while longer. So I'm not away. I'm just dropping out for a while. And
Yeah.
that's 2013. It's 2024 now.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah, but I
well,
mean, it's good to step back every once in a while, you know?
well, yeah, I just stepped away and I haven't gone back yet. I mean,
Right.
I'm not against it.
Hmm.
It's fun doing the job. I loved
Hmm.
working, but the trauma involved in getting in front of a camera, the 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 trip to being in front of a camera that's loaded with film
Right.
uh, is about 1,000 miles. I mean, from the sidewalk to the camera is about a
Yeah.
thousand. So
Yeah.
yeah, and you got to repeat it until you wait. I waited until I didn't have to audition anymore. You get there's certain uh, stations of the cross where
Right.
can I say it my way or do I have to say it like it's written? You
Right. Right.
say it like it's written.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can say it better. Say it like it's written. Okay. And then you can I say it a little different? Yeah, yeah, that's okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
And then you get can I say it different? Can I say something else?
Hmm.
Depends, and then they'll ask you, well, what are you going to say? And I'll say,
Right.
yes. Yeah, that's great because it fits. It fits.
Yeah.
You get okay. And then the parts start getting bigger.
Yes.
That's another thing. And then you don't have to audition. That's kind of cool. And,
Yes, absolutely.
and then you stay there for a while where they just call you.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to, depending on how small or big the part is, you have to audition or not. If it's small enough, you don't have to audition.
Right.
If it's larger, you have to audition. And then, of course, you stay there until you get a name.
Yes.
And then you can be a lead, then because they'll come to the movie because, oh, it's Henry Fonda or Lucille
Right.
Ball, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Stations of the Cross, and you wait as an actor, you wait for the next step. You know, I I want to say it different. Say it the way it's written, and that sticks with you. God damn it! I see other people change, the words.
Right.
They're on another level. They've been around for a while. They've had other jobs, and you just wait. You stop. Well, I did. I stopped thinking about the part and just thinking about why I can't say it my way and he can, you know. And
Right.
then little tricks you start to learn. Um,
Yes.
like I learned from, like a big star. I asked him, like a big star. I don't remember his name. He was It was some black and white Western star. Garner, James Garner.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
okay, he's the one. I'm doing a scene with James Garner. This is way back in the day. Um, it was a black and white TV show, I guess. Yeah.
Hmm.
So in the 60s and 70s, probably in the 70s. Okay. So I'm doing a scene with him. I'm doing the first take. He's here and I'm here and I'm talking to him. And in the middle of him talking, in the middle of the scene, he just splits and he walks away. What?
Oh, wow.
And he leaves me there. Nobody says a word. He just walks away. He just walks out of the scene, walks around behind the camera, comes around, and just stands there at the edge
Wow.
of the set
Hmm.
where, where everybody's watching. And he just stands there and waits for the director to adjust to what he just did. And that is, okay, back to one. Let's do it again. When he says back to one, that means we're going to start over. Okay,
Reset pretty much.
one, and he just takes his place again,
Hmm.
and then we do the scene, boom, and it's fine.
Hmm.
One take and moving on. Okay, and I went over to him and I said, "What the hell was that all about?" He goes, "Oh, what do you mean, me just walking out of the scene, the first take?" I go, "Yeah, what was that?" He said, "Well, everybody in television, I mean, the behind the camera,
Hmm.
uh, they're really into money, saving money. And I guess it's expensive to do these things. So he says, even if I'm bad, because I'm James Garner, they're going to use the shot. I mean,
Right.
say I come in drunk, but I get through the scene and it doesn't show, you know.
Yeah.
But, everybody knows I could do it better. Fuck it, print it, let's move on.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, and nobody knows that. And we looking at home, we don't know he was drunk, and we don't know he did it bad. It's James Gardner. It's a story, so you
Right.
just move along with it. It doesn't matter. Okay,
Yeah.
he says,
Definitely.
but he says in that particular take, and I've learned this a long time ago. I've done this, so they know me for this. He said, so unless I like that what I'm doing, I walk out of the scene in the middle so they can't use it. Because even if I feel I'm bad and I get through the scene, they're going to use it and say, yeah, fine, don't worry about it. Boom. So unless I like my take, I walk out of the scene. And I
Well, that's
learned
a
that.
good thing, though, in a way.
So, yeah. So, in other words, that protects the star, it protects him. Now, not many stars know that trick. It's just a trick.
Well,
I
I
mean,
know it now, so I can use it.
yeah, yeah. So I figured, okay, I'm going to use that. So the
Hmm.
very next part I had, I was in the middle of working with a star,
Hmm.
with a star. And I didn't like what I was doing. So in the middle of the scene, I walked out of the shot, walked around, came in. Well, the place went nuts, man. What the fuck are you doing? What? Yeah, I mean, everybody started hollering at me. What the fuck, man? Wait, what are you doing? Well, James Garner told me, you're not James Garner. Oh, I'm sorry. So I never did it again because I knew
Yeah.
it was James Garner again. So, but so you learn tricks and you learn when and where to use them and with who.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very long, slow learning curve because I have dyslexia.
Hmm.
And so sometimes I have to learn things slowly over and over again before I
Right.
get, you know. But so that I learned that one right away.
Oh,
I
wow.
never,
Yeah.
yeah. Never did it again. But see, the thing that I didn't learn was that just because James Garner does it doesn't mean you can do it. So, I
Right.
mean, every other actor in the world would have known that right then and there. No, he's telling you something, but that doesn't mean you can do it.
Right.
But no, I just said, well, he's an actor. I'm an actor.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you
So,
just had me thinking that I could do that, but I'd be fired on the spot.
well, now I know that.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think they would fire you on the spot for doing it once. If you did it again,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I did it. Yes. Okay, you got me on a roll here because now I'm talking about all the fuck ups that I did. But interesting.
Hey, but
And
it's
we
educational right there.
learn from them. But other actors would have known before they did it that,
Right.
pick your spots. I never picked my spot. I just did it. Somebody said,
Right.
hey, it's really cool. And I would just, oh, okay, boom. And they, what the fuck? Whoa. I have many of the, so, okay, one, now this is an Escape from Alcatraz. So everybody has
Oh
seen.
yeah.
So I'm acting with Clint Eastwood.
Yes.
And I see another word. Here's the other thing. I'm good enough so that even if that got around it, Hankin is just, he doesn't know what the hell is going on. He does weird things in the middle of it. But I was so popular. I don't know if I was good or not, but I was so popular as an actor. In other words, I could pull it off. Whatever the job was, I could do it.
Right.
I never got fired because I was bad. And I only got fired once ever. And that was for a totally other reason. It had nothing to do with me.
Right.
Uh, so, so I was good enough. And I kind of maybe knew that in the back of my mind that, well, I mean, that I don't have to pay much attention to instructions, that I
Right.
will get fired, I'll get hollered at, and maybe not get hired again by these people. That
Right.
happened, but at least I won't get fired. Okay. So I was doing a movie with Escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood. And I noticed a pattern between him and the director. And so I assumed I can fit into that pattern. No, they've been working together, the Don Siegel and Clint Eastwood, for years. They got
Right.
an unspoken language together.
Like Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau were. They had their
Exactly.
own timing and
And I'm
language.
there, I'm Larry.
Yeah.
And, you know, on a set, I learned, it is something I learned over time, that if they use my name on the set, by if they use my name on the set, and it's generally by the director or the star, that's then you're in a red zone. You're a red
Right.
flag zone. If they use your name, it's not good. Like,
Yeah.
Larry, what are you doing? It's that kind of thing. They use my name. They don't say, "Hey Larry, great job." No, no. It's, "Hey Larry, would you move back?" Or Larry, remember your lines, okay?
Yeah.
Or Larry, don't do that. Or Larry. If I hear Larry, it's I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
it's
yeah.
okay. So Clint. So I noticed a pattern between Clint and Don, and this was the pattern. After the first, okay, and this is I picked up. This I learned, but again, it had to happen a couple of times before I picked it up. And this was Clint Eastwood does not like to do another take.
Right.
In Clint's world, one take, moving on.
Yes.
That's all he knows. So if the director wants to do another take, Clint always said, why? Why are we doing another take? Why? And Don would always have an answer because they worked together, and he said, no, no,
Yeah.
it's the camera. All he would say is, the camera jiggled, we got to do it again. And Clint would go, oh, okay. I mean, if you
Hmm.
gave him a good reason, that's all he wanted.
Yeah.
But if there was no good reason, he did his best take number one. He
Yeah.
wants him. And that was like a rule. For 3 months, I was on that movie. So 3 months, that was like, Why are we doing this again? And he would ask over and over again, even if it was Don Siegel, and even though he got a really good answer every time, the next time he'd ask again. Why? In other words, he never trusted like other actors, even stars. All right,
Right.
we'll do one more. Fine, let's do one more. That's all. It's normal.
Yeah.
Okay. So I noticed that pattern. Okay. So I'm thinking, all right, how can I use that to my betterment? Thinking,
Right.
so all right. Then the second pattern is if if they're going to do a second take, then the next thing that happens is, why are we doing this? Well, the camera jiggled. Okay, fine. And then Don Siegel would come over to Clint. I'm standing there. It's just the two of us. It's a two scene.
Right.
Siegel would come over and he would talk to Clint, and Clint would talk to him. And I'm like, not there. It's like I'm invisible. And then they talk about the scene. I say, well, as long as it was stopped, why don't you try to do it this way? And then they go, well, okay, but how about if I? And then they talk about it like two actors or two directors,
Right.
one on one. Then they just start da 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 da. And then when whatever is happening is fixed, they go, all right, we're set. Okay, fine. Boom. And he goes back. All right, take two. We do it. Okay. Is it fine? Is that okay? Yeah, fine. Okay, moving on. Okay, so that pattern. So now one time I notice Clint always says the same thing in this thing. He he said, well, why are we doing that? Oh no, he doesn't. He doesn't say anything. But what got in my craw, what bothered me was they never, Don or Clint never talked to me, never asked me anything like, how is that for you? Or would you like to do something different? Or if I, Clint Eastwood, do something different, will that change anything that you have to do in saying your lines? Never. They never. And I started to get really, after 3 months of this, I think around a month and a half in, I was starting to get really bothered. I mean, once or twice, yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, hey, it's business. You talk to
Yeah.
him. I don't need to bother with me. But it just was constant. The ignoring, hello, Larry, something, anything. So I
Yeah.
started to speak up.
Hmm.
Okay. So one time, because okay, cut. We want to do it again. Why? Blah blah blah. So he comes over, and then what was it? Yeah. So uh, Clint. So they go, how was that for you, Clint? That was one take,
Right.
one take. And Don just shouted from the camera to Clint, who was standing there, going blah 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 blah. Cut. And then he said, I guess he could have. Don Siegel had another way of shooting it, but he wanted to check first. So
Yeah.
he called over and he said, how is that for you, Clint? And Clint just shouted back, no, that was fine. So then he said, well, okay, let's move on. I'm
Yep.
not going to bother him. Move. And that happened over and over again. How is that for you, Clint? I'm fine. Moving on. Okay. So one time they cut, how is that for you, Clint? And Clint said, that was fine. And just before he said, okay, moving on, I said, I'd like to do it again. I think I can do it better.
Oh, oh, oh.
Whoa. I didn't shout it. I just said it.
Yeah.
But there was like silence.
Ooh.
Oh, it's like he talked out of turn. I mean, it was just like that. And Clint Eastwood just looked at me with this badass look, man. Like, and he just said, it's like, I'd like to do it again. I can do it better. And Clint just said, well, I can't. And he walked out of the set.
Oh.
And then Siegel and everybody laughed, and Don Siegel walked away and said,
Oh.
moving on. And everybody just left me there on this set. And everybody cleared and started setting up another set immediately. Like
Uh-huh.
I mean, faster than normal. They wanted to leave me. It was like punishment. It was like everybody said, "Well, I can't." Silence, and everybody just split and
Ooh.
started setting up. And I thought, "Oh fuck, man, that's okay." I mean, that got to me.
Yeah.
That 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 scared me that I might be fired for that.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes, I
it was
understand.
very serious. What I didn't think so, but holy cow. I mean, everybody reacted. The crew reacted, the cinematographer, everyone. Okay, that's the second thing. About 2 weeks later, now, because of that, it was Malpasso's production. Because of that, the crew was belonged to under the auspices of, paid by Malpasso Production, which was Clint's production company.
Right.
So, in other words, everybody was being paid by Clint and Warner Brothers. It was
Yes.
a production, but Clint was one of the bosses. So the crew started really treating me uh, awful, to put it mild. I was in a barrel.
Right.
I mean, they just would laugh at me. They would prank me because of that one thing. My relationship just changed on that set. Escape
Yeah.
from, and I just would go home almost crying, trying to. I got to get out of the barrel. I got to stop this. I can't take it anymore because they're really into it. I mean, no mercy. That
Yeah.
Clint doesn't like this guy. This guy's an idiot, and we're gonna give it to him, and maybe he'll quit. Yeah, and it was really bad. Okay, 2 weeks go by. I'm under the stress now from that. Okay, and then I just couldn't take it anymore, but I didn't know what I was going to do. And one day on the set, Don Siegel, we do one take, and um, Don Siegel said, "How is that for you, Clint?"
Hmm.
Didn't Yeah, just like he does every time.
Yeah.
How's it for you, Clint? And Clint said, this is 2 weeks later, something that I said 2 weeks ago, and I don't even think he knew that he was saying the exact same sentence that I said 2 weeks ago. I think he just blurted out an answer. And
Yeah.
what Clint said was to Don, he said, "Well, I'd like to do another one. I think I can do it better." And I just blurted out, "Well, I can't." And I walked out of this.
Oh,
Well, I expected the same laugh because they laughed when he did it to me.
yeah.
Silence. And I kept on walking. See, I expected the laugh. I
Yeah.
walked off. Now we were on the tier C, which is like the third floor. So we
Right.
were on the third floor of the building. So on tier C, it's a long thing this way, but it's a
Yeah.
drop off down there, and your
Right.
cell is this way, right in there. So okay. So we were shooting here on the tier, and there was a drop off. Okay. And the camera is here, and it was just us two. So they're shooting into the scene, but the camera was actually hanging out. They jerry rigged it. So it
Yeah.
was over the railing to the dropout. And everybody was watching on this side of the aisle of the tier.
Hmm.
So the only way to walk out of the scene was to walk that way. We were shooting near the exit here. So the other door down the tier was way the fuck down that way. Way,
Oh.
and that's all the walk that I could walk away
Hmm.
was down that way. And I just said, "Well, I can't." And I started walking down that tier. And I expected to laugh. And I'm walking, and there's no laugh. There's silence. And then there's no silence as I kept walking. There's just silence. Nobody shouting, nobody talking, nothing. And I don't even turn around, and I just kept walking. And as I'm walking, I'm looking, there's the door. I just got to get to the door. I know I'm fired. That's what I'm telling myself. you're fired, you're fired, you've blown a great part, but I can't take this shit in the barrel anymore.
Yeah.
Out of here. And I don't care. So, but the door kept on looking like it was getting further and further away. No, it was just, and I did. And finally, then, and there's just silence behind me, and I don't know what's going on. They could have been aiming a gun at me for all I know. And I'm just walking, and I'm finally to the door, and I'm saying, "Oh God, I got to get out of here." And as my hand goes to the doorknob, I hear Clint yell, "Hey, Larry, come on back, man. We were just kidding around." So I turned around, and he's going, and he's laughing, and he's going, because one is, I guess, he and the crew understood. We pushed him a little too far. We got to
Yeah.
him, and he's out of here. And two is, we were a month and a half into the movie, and I had shot scenes 2, 3 weeks ago
Hmm.
that I'm going to have to reshoot. What's this?
I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know.
I don't know.
I
Okay,
don't
but you
know.
would have to if they rehired somebody,
Hmm.
cost them a lot of money to go back and reshoot scenes with
Right.
and other prisoners and stuff, other actors. So I mean, it was kindness. It was we went too far, and also a financial no. Don't
Yeah.
let it pop up. But and nobody ever spoke about that moment where I walked off stage ever again. But I was out of the barrel. I mean, I had total respect. Yeah, I mean, that was a heavy duty move. I didn't realize how heavy duty that was. I didn't know but the crew was like, "Hey man, cool move."
All right.
Yeah, because I put my job on the line. I mean, they could have fired me for that
Right.
easily. Uh, and as a matter of fact, I heard when I came on, they had just fired somebody because they
Wow.
were shooting when I was hired. They had
Hmm.
They were that 2 or 3 days in, and I heard somebody was fired and they hired somebody, but they could fire somebody because they hadn't shot him. He had only one scene and he couldn't do it. It was bad,
Yeah.
but it was only 2 or 3 days, and it was one, and it was this very simple shot. So goodbye. Uh, yeah. So I mean that and that was kind of what's in the book. Maybe not. I think it was that particular shot. I don't know. But in the book, that guy, what I wrote a book about my time in show business, mainly in Hollywood, doing movies and TV
Right.
shows. It's mainly about the difficulties that I gave to Hollywood, or the difficulties I caused Hollywood in hiring me. Now, like I say, I never got fired. I only got fired once, and it has nothing to do with me. It had to do with the script, and they just cut my role out before I even. I mean, we were doing a table read, and somebody came to me and said, "They want to talk to you."
Hmm.
Went in, they said, "We're sorry, Larry, but we had some script changes, and your part had to be cut. The show is too long, so sorry."
Yeah.
So no, that's okay. Yeah, that's part of Hollywood. That's part of the job, frankly,
Right. Show business. Yeah.
show business. But yeah, but there are other times when it was great, and I did great things, and you capture lightning in a bottle. The great one was when I did Home Alone, Sergeant Balzac and the donut
Yes.
pulling
I
on
was just going
on
to
the
ask you
phone.
about that.
Well, folks, about Home Alone and everything else, you'll just have to wait until next week. But for now, thanks for joining me. And this is Zach, the Incredible Impression, saying, see yas.